Hey, what is up, everyone? Welcome to Market Psychology 101, where we look for value in the markets when there's fear and are cautious when there's greed. Today, we are going to be taking a look at the top coins available on Robinhood. There is only about 3, 6, 9, 10, 13 coins available on Robinhood. We're going to be taking a look at all of them, some a little bit longer than others. Let's start out with fear and greed. We are in extreme greed, which is 75 and above. And something important to note is we have not been at this level of greed since the very top of Bitcoin. I have noted or wondered that if we are getting a mid-cycle top because of where greed is going, and that we may chop around until the true top. As you can see here, when we had the mid-cycle top, pretty aligned with fear and greed. However, when we got to extreme greed here, the real top was in May and November of 21. May was the true time to sell. The true Bitcoin top was November of 21. So I do wonder, are we going to shoot up here somewhere around 85.90 like we did here, come down for a little bit, peak up? Fear and greed can be a leading or a lagging indicator, just so you can know. Overall, alt season, we're still on the low end, so still overall might be good times to get in on alts. And as far as the Bitcoin rainbow chart, I just did a video where I showed that each time we have a halving, we move up. And if we follow that pattern, we would be between the range of 52 to 69,000 by the time of the halving, which is on April 22nd, or at least it should be. So let's start off with the first coin available on Coinbase, and that is Robinhood. Would I be buying Bitcoin? Sorry, not Coinbase. Would I be buying Bitcoin on Robinhood right now? And for me, simply the answer is no, because we are at yearly highs and we are still running up. There have been around four dips, 2, 3, 4 that have happened that have all been around 20-ish percent, 20.5%. You can see from this peak down here, 21%, 21% here. You can just look to the right and trust me on that. It was about that. So if we were to move up even to our next fib level up here, if we did a 21% move down, what you notice is we get right to the top of this structure here. And so even if we went up further and moved down 21%, and we're getting Bitcoin at 44,000, 45,000, maybe that could be the start of when your dollar cost averaging. And again, I don't know what the future is going to bring, whether this is going to ape up to 69K or not, but I do like to look for those pullbacks, and really the rest depends on how much you like Bitcoin. If you do believe in the 4-year cycle, these peaks, and you believe another one of these peaks is coming in mid or late 2025, then you might be like, you know what, not the worst area to buy here. Where's the next step? What can I expect? Well, maybe look, we've had since the bottom, 21% dips. Maybe look for one of those coming up. Next coin, let's take a look at Ethereum. We broke above 3,000 recently. If I go real close on here, what does the price say? Like 3,030. If we zoom out though, we can see that Ethereum, it's been riding this trend up and has recently started to really get away from the trend. And we have not been away from the trend to this degree of a move really ever. So, well, actually, let's take a look at that. From that trend line to the peak of where we got, that's about 80% above the trend line. I'm just looking right here from the trend line to that peak. I'm looking on look at that, 95%. I'm noticing something here that I haven't noticed before. Sorry, my cat's meowing at me. They're saying hi. 90%, 64%, and here we already talked about that, 80%. So we do have these moves where we can stretch up and then maybe come back down. So are we going to ever revisit this trend line? I don't know. But something to keep in mind. As far as the fib range, now that our fib has moved up, you can see we've gone, this area consolidation is now really the 0.5, and that we haven't had a buy signal since back here. If I try to zoom in, are we getting any sort of selling on the daily? No. So this thing's just bullish. I would not be entering in right now. Let's move on. I want to take a look at the coin and be quick about it, because those of you who know me, you know how long I can ramble on for. Dogecoin, we're at 8.5 cents. Underneath this 382, looks like we may break through. However, on the daily, you see a little sell. And sometimes these sell signals don't last for long. So maybe a decent time to buy if you believe in that Doge is going to keep trending up. We did have a buy signal here not too long ago at around 8 cents on the weekly. If we go to the monthly, well, our last signal is way down here. You can be very patient and just buy monthly buy signals if you wanted. You're not always going to make money, especially if it's after a huge move. I don't like buying monthly buy signals right after a huge move. I like to wait at least a year. But if there's ever a big move down and then we get a monthly buy signal, usually that tends to be safer. So, yeah, worst time to buy? Not really. Let's move on to SHIB. SHIB and Doge usually look very similar. And if they do, yeah. So you can tell here, where is that fib going? Oh, it's from way back here. I drew it from that point. So we can keep it on that point. We could go up to that one. But I think I'd rather keep it on that point because it's been within the last... I want to say it's been within the last year, but it really hasn't been. We're kind of moving away from that. So I might even draw this fib down here. Just keep it within the last year. What do I see? Well, we are above the 382, so bullish. We do have that little sell signal. Maybe this will come back down to 947. All those zeros, what are there? 5 zeros and 947. But we are making higher lows. So something to keep in mind here, though, is the RSI. We are creating higher lows, but if we're creating lower highs on the RSI and higher highs on price, that can be bearish divergence. Not that we can't go higher. Something to keep a lookout for. Next one, let's take a look at AVAX. So AVAX, tell how long it's been since I've looked at some of these. It's been a few weeks. AVAX had this little daily sell signal. Maybe it could come back down here and we'd still be getting a higher low in their structure there. Something around 34 if you're willing to be patient. If we go to the weekly, we haven't had a buy signal since that 34. So yeah, maybe it's rolling back over and just getting ready to come back to it. If you really love AVAX, sure, you might wait till 34, 35 if you're willing to be patient. Again, I like to wait for these weekly buy signals at the very least. Next, let's take a look at Link. And Link's one of my favorites, so I have it up here already. So Link, within the last month, it did create a newer high. You can see that right there, where we got up to like $20.83, something like that. Let's move this fib over so we can give ourselves some wiggle room for later on. Link, man, it was staying up in this range, and it was hard to buy until you saw, well, we've been here for 3 months, and so it started to get in the accumulation. Just kind of like how Link was in this very long accumulation here. Anytime it's going sideways like that, tends to be a good time to dollar cost average in if it's a stock or crypto you believe in. So it was hanging around this $15 range, got up to 21 almost, and has come back. On the weekly, what do we notice? Is there anything on the weekly? No sell signal. You do see some wick structure forming up there, so I'm wondering if it's going to get to the $17 range. Again, all these altcoins are going to go the way that Bitcoin goes. So if Bitcoin has a 40% move down, you expect these altcoins to be even more violent. Just something to be aware of. However, I like Link. I'm willing to be patient to see if it comes back down to 17 at the very least before I even think about it. Let's go to Litecoin. Litecoin. So I have these two trend lines drawn on here just because it looks like it's forming this big wedge pattern, if you will. And Litecoin overall in this lower trend line, it's not too far away from it. And so if Litecoin came down anywhere around the 65 range, I don't hate it here. Overall, I do not hate Litecoin here. Something to know, though, is we only got so high with Litecoin last time, and it wasn't a coin that gave as many multiples for people as some of the other ones did. If you bought Litecoin here, I would not blame you one bit. I really wouldn't. On the monthly, let's see. Well, you can see we had our last monthly buy signal was, even if you cut the lowest end of the wick, was higher than where we are now. So if you like Litecoin at all, or you're looking for a very, very safe play, sure. If we had another 4-year cycle where we peak into these upper price ranges within the next 2 years, and all you're looking for is a 2x, hey, Litecoin would probably be one of the safest plays you can make. Let's take a look at Uniswap, and let's go to this one. So Uni, I want to say I had ones with fibs drawn on it. Oh well, we'll just stick with this one. So when we go to the weekly, this reminds me a bit of SHIB and Doge. We're in this range, and just look for where a lot of the structure is. So that's around $4 to $7.50. We're at the upper end of that range. We've already made a move above a weekly buy signal. So if it were to sell and come back down to 6.5, 6, I would say I would wait for that. If you really like Uni, Bitcoin Cash, I typed this one out because sometimes I get these weird things. So Bitcoin Cash, let's move this fib out a little bit. No new highs for a while. Not ever since, when was this? June of 2023. So we made that high of 330, went down to around 180. Ouch, that hurts, almost 50%. And then we've been slowly grinding back up. A lot of accumulation, and then back up. It looks like we're starting to create structure here around this 272, 273 range. So as you can see, though, we have these big wicks. Look at all these dojis. That's where we have a body with big, long wicks on either side. So yeah, that's those dojis usually mean that we can violently move one way or the other, but we just kind of keep going sideways with it. So looks like we're finding some accumulation slowly grinding up. You have these moving averages. Maybe you wait for something like 250 if you're willing to be patient. Ethereum Classic. Cool, I found the one with the fib. Ethereum Classic. Let's move that out a little bit. Yeah, we're just going up on this 45-degree angle here, and we're staying above that moving average. We may bounce off that 10 MA, but we keep moving up. And yeah, maybe you can be patient, wait for 25, but this one overall looks like it just enjoys going upwards. So yeah, we haven't had a buy signal since back here. So you could possibly be a little bit patient with it. But yeah, Ethereum Classic so far does look to be making steady move upwards. Let's go to XLM, Stellar Lumens. I want to find I always am looking for the ones where I have charts on it, or the fibs. So here, fib-wise, this is kind of like Bitcoin Cash, where we had our last top in the middle of 2023. And yeah, look at that, 20 cents down to 10. Yeah, so that did move down 50%. And it looks to be coming back up to this 618. My concern is how low this is on the fib scale. We aped up here very strong. Not only are we under the 50%, we're under the 618 here. So overall, I'm a little hesitant on this one, confirming it as bullish. Now, sure, if it gets above the 618 again, you can say, well, maybe that's changing the trend, and you can see on the RSI overall long trend up. So if you really like Stellar Lumens, sure, maybe you can put in here. However, I'm feeling a little bit of caution. I know the chart is showing possible more value to get back near its top, but it did have a big rug and just took out half the money that was in it. And the fact that it's under these fib ranges, I am concerned. So tread cautiously, but if you like it, not the worst time to buy, because Maybe you were getting excited up here and we had a buy signal. That's buy signal. We had the lower end of it was right around 11 cents. And okay, we're at not even 12 cents. So you can look at it that way, that, we're underneath these buy signals. But again, the fib level is the one area I have concern about. XTZ. Guess I'll pick the first one. Cool. XTZ, kind of like Ethereum Classic, slowly grinding up. Maybe if you're willing to be patient. It likes this 10 MA. Then maybe you might wait for it to come back to it. But when is it going to do that? Who knows? We can get these weeklies, and it might be another couple weeks till we do, and maybe the next sell is at a higher price. So who's to say? But if you were to buy right now at $1.09, do so at your own risk. When you take a look on these macro charts and you just zoom out, sometimes that can help you feel better, and you can think to yourself, oh, well, this thing's been falling for a long time. Well, what if it were to get back there? Yeah, sure. Or maybe this is just forever a falling knife and a rug pull. However, you could have said the same about Link, and then it had accumulation for a year. As you can see here, this has been accumulating in this range for over a year. So maybe it's going to come back down, and then you can try to buy somewhere around here, around this point. It looks like the 0.618 fib range, if you want to be extra patient, 86 cents. But yeah, only a couple more to do. AVE. Let's move this fib out a bit. And yeah, bullish. Came down. We had a sell signal. So here, I don't hate this price. We just had a weekly buy signal. And yeah, sure, you could have caught the 0.5 at 88.67, but we're not even at the next fib. So overall, I don't think the worst time to buy here at 93, at least on the weekly. We are getting this structure moving upwards. And yeah, overall, I think the chart does look better to me, moving range-wise. Looks like it wants to get back above that 20. And last one, comp. What do we have for comp? So overall here, we're seeing a little bit of accumulation, in my opinion. So accumulation around this 0.5, and it's wanting to break up, and it's right around that 382. So if you would have caught any of these buy signals on the weekly, hey, maybe not the worst time. We ranged very heavily on these dojis here from the 618 to the 382. So yeah, we're still in that range. Yeah, we are at the upper end of it. Maybe if you want to be ultra patient, you could wait for 54. But again, we're at 55, and if you zoom way out, you could say, well, comp has been at 800 before. Who cares? Or 400. Okay. So I wouldn't blame you if that was your thinking. And does it look like we formed a bottom? Yeah. Are we within the range of that bottom? Yeah. So if you bought comp and you're just waiting till within the next year and a half, or I should say 2 years for another 4-year cycle top, okay, sure. But again, do your own research and decide what are the altcoins that have strong forward potential. Because I will say this, even though the chart, you can see that, yeah, we were over 10 times higher. Sure. However, having been through a couple of these 4-year cycles myself, because I was in 2017, I was in for this one as well, and I'm in for this one as well. What I will say is all because a coin ran in a prior 4-year cycle does not mean it's going to run again. So there are no guarantees to say that this will get back there. However, if this is a coin that is going to have a strong backing and that is still relevant today, then okay, I would agree with that line of thinking that, you know what, maybe I do believe this one will 10x. Sure. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video on the coins, the cryptocurrencies available on Robinhood. If there are any altcoins you would like for me to take a look at that are available on Coinbase, let me know. I review stocks as well, and I go over any cryptocurrency available on Robinhood and Coinbase, because there's only 13 available on Robinhood. I just put them all in one video like I do now. I go over the top 10 altcoins by market cap. Of course, no stable coins, because that's pointless. On Coinbase. But if there's any coins outside of that, like I've talked about, IMX, Optimism, I think ICP and SEI before, I'll have to double check. Jasmine, if there are any other coins available on Coinbase you'd like for me to go over, please let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, I hope everyone is doing well this week. And yeah, take care. Have a good one. Bye-bye.